unfortunately, the very next day is when Renee Good was killed. Now that day, we responded to the scene, and there were literally a few hundred ICE agents there, and we were able to get them to leave eventually, because their presence alone was just escalating things. And there was real concern both at one, trying to preserve evidence, but two, trying to keep people safe. Eventually they left. Many members of the city council and elected officials were there trying to help de-escalate things, members of the community. And for the most part, that day was, that scene was calm for most of it until the very end. At the very end, there were people throwing ice, rocks, and other things, with several officers and state troopers that wound up being injured while the police were trying to leave the city. The following week, there was a shooting on the north side, which was non-fatal, and is not really publicly, it seems like hasn't been talked too much. It kind of gets lost with the two fatalities. That was a much more tense scene that day. There were federal law enforcement was using tear gas. Police officers had to respond in to help a family with a child that was having trouble breathing from the tear gas. And it was very, very quickly, it had become a very unsafe situation. The following week, in the midst of, obviously, there's protests, demonstrations going on throughout this. The vice president visits the city in the middle of all of these things happening. Ultimately, on the 24th, we know Mr. Pretti is killed. And really, it's that day, I think, was the greatest risk that we had of just having widespread destruction and starting off the cycle that we had in 2020, where people ultimately lost their lives. 26th, on the 26th and 27th, Bovino is ultimately reassigned, and we know the drawdown.